The meeting of the Hazel Park Amateur Radio Club Board of Directors for February 25, 2026 is now called to order. All right. Well, we know about the Hazel Park Memorial Library. Really very fortunate that that we meet in their conference room there every month. So the second Wednesday of each month. So we're very fortunate. Well, I guess the headlines are, as we're now in the end of February, March, then April, and the elections are up. So we need to really start thinking about this and what may, whatever. And I don't have a whole lot about to say about it, but I just want to put that in everybody's mind right now so that we can figure out where we want to go and we don't have to wait till the last minute, which happens more, I guess, than it should. But we'd like to get a jump on it and get things set up and ready to go, and it makes it more interesting. Nothing like a good election, right? Okay, so. There'll be no recounting ballots. We'll only count them once, I guess. That's why we should identify our voices. So I'm Joe, WB8ADX. Andrew?
Andrew AJ0WX.
Len?
Leonard AD8FK.
Okay. Bob? Is Bob here? Reuven?
Reuven, Kilo Bravo 3 Echo Hotel Whiskey, KB3 EHW.
Hugh, are you there? Dave, are you there?
Yep. David, W8HOO.
Okay, so that's excellent because it's less you have to go back and make those corrections. So terrific. I'm glad we're able to do that. Okay, well, we know about what a quorum is, and we do have a quorum here, so not a problem. This is not the most up to, this drives me crazy. I have so many files and so many versions of things. I do have here the webmaster we know is Mike, so that has been updated. Election committee. So we really need to start focusing on the election committee. John WATOY, although mentioning no names, but because we're going to have to at least in our minds get down like the outline or the calendar. In other words, by what day. I remember back in the old days, and we haven't done it lately, but in the old days, I remember going to a meeting. This is before I even knew anybody really, and we were back at the high school there, and like candidates went around and they like talked about who they were and introduced themselves, all that kind of stuff. It was kind of fun. Is it still necessary? I don't know, but we don't do it. We haven't done it in quite some time. But the point being is to set up a calendar on, when do candidates have to be nominated? Well, first of all, what's the structure? Nomination, and then I don't know, like a campaigning time, I suppose, and then the election, and then the transition. And the transition is really important because if offices are being changed, then we want to make sure that the information and the records and the files and all that, that belong to the club, move along. Ideally, all these would be in the shared file where what do you call it? The Google, I think it's a Google file or a OneDrive or whatever it is. So anyhow, but the election committee, so we need to start thinking about that here in February. By March, by the next meeting, we need to have that really established during this month. So that's the big breaking news there.
I mean, usually February is also the budget. We usually vote on the budget in March, I thought.
Oh, thank you, Reuven. You're correct. You're correct. Now that you mention it, there was a document that was put out a number of years ago by Murray, when he was president, and we're talking, it goes back a while, but it was really a good structure, and not all the months exactly line up today like they did then, but that was one of the issues that he raised during the month of February. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also, as soon as possible in March, we need to reserve the field day site and the picnic site. That's the other thing on the calendar
Right.
for March.
Yeah, yeah, and the field day site, right?
Yeah.
The picnic site and the field day site. Yeah.
Mhm. I
So
think it's
John,
March 1st is the open registration at the Hazel Park recreation
the
facility or
center
whatever.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll need a volunteer to go in. I wonder if KAWU lives really close by. I know he's not been real active in the club, but that would be certainly would be appreciated. But we'll find somebody. We'll figure that out, I suppose. Okay, well, thanks, Ruben. Thank you for that. Okay. Well, holiday party picnic. Okay, so we're pretty good, good. All right, next. So, all right. Well, I know we're service through education, but this year has been an extraordinary year, you must say, with the repeater. We have the repeater meetings on Monday, and then on Tuesday we had the extra class. Then Wednesday, it's either the membership meeting or the board meeting or whatever. Saturday mornings, the breakfast. Sunday, of course, the weekly net. So it's just amazing when you think about how many activities we have, and this is one of the best, I think, the license course. Now, as it turns out, this year I'm just not going to be able to do it this January. I was really hoping that would work out, but unfortunately, it did not. But as we change and elections and all that, there'll be more time, and I would be very interested in picking it all up again for the extra class there in the fall. So anyway, we have that, the general class, and I think the technician class. So I'm not sure what the status there. I know one of them, either technician or general, right, is not. Does anybody have any information on that?
Yeah, I think that technician changes in June. So the next class, it's the questions are going to change, but I think that just also kind of brings up a point. If you teach to the questions every time the questions change, you have to, change the specific questions. If you teach to the ideas, then the ideas are always going to stay the same. You just might have to add like a new topic or something.
Well, it's funny you say that. Absolutely. This is part of the issue that we had with the extra class, where the fundamentals are the same, but the numbers in the questions is the value or the variables. The variables in the questions are changed. So it's kind of discerning because if you're real good in math and you use it regularly, it's easier to follow. But many of the people who take the courses, math is since high school or whatever. So they're not so good. So where you would say, yeah, and I thought the same thing that, well, what the numbers are the numbers, but it's the concepts. But it's difficult for newcomers to kind of grasp all that. So it is important that we keep the documentation up to speed. And that's, like I said, I got a lot of pushback on how I was using the old questions with those numbers, and it was very discerning. So it's like, let's get it right. I'd rather get it right and do it than not. So anyway, but so that all has to be figured out. All right, what's next here? Oh, yeah. All right, so we got the plaque for Jerry. We know about it. I need to get him this plaque. Unfortunately, and I thank, for filling in. I wasn't at the membership meeting, and I thank Len and Andrew. Thanks for filling in on that. We had this opportunity to be interviewed up at Fair State for a special program. So for my daughter, so it's like, she was going to do it herself. And then when it came time to do it, it's like she wanted, me to come with her, so I said okay. So anyway, so we'll get this to Jerry. And again, speaking of the classes, I mean, come on, all these years and all that he's done for the club is terrific. Now, this is something that I do not understand, but it really is an issue. And the issue is, what are we doing about testing? It's a whole new landscape out there.
Didn't we say at the membership meeting who took over testing? Someone, there was a name.
Did we? That's what I don't remember. Thank you, Ruben.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
thought
were,
someone
yeah,
said that they were running it.
Who?
I don't remember who the name
yeah,
was, but
hold
I
on. I'm
remember that.
pulling up the
Yeah.
minutes from the club meeting.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Okay.
And
there-
it's the only thing that really changed on our end is that we just would have to print our own tests now. There's
Jim
methods where
Merrick.
Who?
Jim Merrick.
yeah, it sounds familiar.
This was the name that I wrote down in the minutes of the general meeting.
Does Bob know about this? I guess we should get that information over to Bob. And Andrew, you said something to you guys. You said, what did you say, Andrew, just before?
Yeah, it's not that different. It's just instead of sending materials out, it's all digital. So you'd have to go in beforehand into exam tools and print off the exams um, to take in person, and then they have like a tool where you could grade them, and then you submit those digitally. So it's not like we have to get computers for everyone to test. The option is there if they want to do it online, in person they can, but there's still the option for paper tests. They just have to be printed out beforehand.
Aha. Well, that would make a lot of sense. That certainly sounds sensible. All right, so that's the mechanics of it, and then I guess we need to reach out with Bob and who is, and let me write that down again. That name, Reuben, who is
I
that?
wrote down Jim Merrick. I'm not sure if I spelled it correctly. I didn't get a chance to look up the call sign,
Okay,
but that's what Jerry,
that's
because
fine.
Jerry did the announcements, so he
Okay,
mentioned that.
okay, great, thank you. All right, we'll figure that out. Anyway, okay, so we'll get that out, and I don't know if you've driven down Oak Park Avenue lately, but it looks the bill they like tore down the building, or I don't know, they tore it down, but
Yeah,
it
it's
looks
being
great.
completely rebuilt.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, good, good. Yeah, it's been a while. What else? Andrew, what are we doing for the
Yeah,
feature presentation?
I don't have a topic yet, so if anyone has one, that'd be helpful. For April, it's gonna hopefully be DMR.
Okay, I think I have one. I remember thinking that I had one. And
I
okay,
mean,
very good.
we can try if we. I mean, we have a couple of, I don't know, a week and a half or whatever. Could we get someone from the ARRL to do a presentation about an update from the ARRL?
Oh, that would be a great idea. Yeah, yeah, because there's a new for Michigan, right? Isn't there the new
Yeah, I
guy?
mean, we don't. It doesn't. There's a new section manager. We could get the section
Yeah.
manager, or we could get the division director or division vice director. I mean, I think any of them. They just do these presentations for clubs all the time.
Yeah, if you could send me their names, I could in emails, I could send them a note and see.
You know what? And I know what it was that I was watching a video. Oh, it's funny, Reuben. Reuben and I were exchanging emails. So I came across I used for the I don't know, one of the slides on the in the courses, pulse width modulation. And what pulse width modulation is, it has to do with the duty cycle of the RF wave, right? And it goes into this whole long thing. I thought it was a terrific presentation. So check your email there, Reuben, and take a look at it. It really is. It's very, very interesting. So the question and what we're all getting back to was this whole issue with the circulator, right, and telewave. And so the issue that happened is Telewave was a company, and I guess it wasn't doing so well. Then it got bought out and changed, but they kept the name, but they changed the name a little bit. So originally it was called Telewave, I guess Telewave Incorporated or something like that. And but now it's Telewave IO, whatever that means, or .io or something like that. But the point is the way that they represented the power capability of this circulator was actually quite misleading, I must say. Okay, quite misleading. Now, the new the new documentation is very much more accurate, but the point is that it has to do with the duty cycle, and 60% duty cycle is 100 watts versus if you want to run 100 watts, or 100. What was I thinking? The 100% modulation and what is 100% modulation and the definitions and all this kind of stuff. So very interesting, I thought, from just a technical standpoint. But it was a very interesting video and it has to do with the width, the duty cycle. So, but in the meantime, I'm afraid I don't have great news to report. It looks. I will say this. I will say the people at Telewave, absolutely terrific, and worked with. I had a very a terrific conversation with the technical support. Very knowledgeable and very courteous and all that. And so working with Telewave, I think, is our way into this. And what I basically did, I mean, these things, the circulators, once it's gone, it's gone. You can't fix it. You just can't. The whole thing's like hermetically sealed and you can't break it open. And I mean, I don't know, unless you're a mechanical genius or something, but they're extremely difficult. So that's the issue. So a letter was sent. I wrote a letter to the management. I said, hey, look, guys, come on. We're not a multinational corporation here. We're an amateur radio club. So the idea is, what can you do? Can you do something for us? I mean, it's a very expensive piece of equipment, and the advertising was misleading, and the vendor needs to update their spec sheets because that's where the old spec sheet came from. So, but the lesson to be learned here is when you're purchasing something or designing something, get the spec sheet from the manufacturer, not anywhere else down the line,
Mhm.
because that'll ensure that it's the most up to date.
Now, did they give you the number of over what time frame is the duty cycle measured? Because the example in the documentation said over a 10-minute time frame. Is that their official 60% over a 10-minute time frame? Is that the official one, or is it 60% over a 20-minute or 40-minute? Like, how do they want us to measure duty cycle?
Well, here's my understanding is, you can measure it for 30 seconds, you can measure it for 20 minutes. The important part to remember is the carrier, like think of AM or single sideband for that matter, right? So the modulation is the amplitude variations.
Yeah,
So what that means is you're
but
not
that's
always
yeah. It's not like AM. AM
right.
and FM are both 100% of the signal the whole time. So
No,
I mean,
AM, not AM. FM is 100%. Do
yeah,
you have a
I guess
carrier?
AM is
Right.
what, like 40%,
Well,
whatever
it
it is.
varies. It depends on,
Yeah. But I'm saying the minimum with AM, you have the center carrier that is whatever percentage of the
correct.
power.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
but I don't know. PSK 31, any of those modes that there are basically 100% of the power all the
Right.
time. But FM being a good example of it. Um,
Right.
so
Right.
yeah, I mean, our so the document that you sent out said if you have in a 10-minute period, you can do 6 minutes on 100% and 4 minutes off, is what the documentation said. So we know that a 10-minute time frame it's acceptable. The question is if we is that at some point the time frame would be it won't dissipate heat enough. So you sort of need to figure out what time frame
Well,
they're measuring.
I think, and we can take this offline. But that's not what I'm thinking. What I'm saying is this is you always have 100% in FM, you always have 100% modulation, right? So you're always
Yes.
transmitting 100 watts continuous, right?
Yes.
Continuous.
Yes.
And the frequency changes very slightly, but it changes in accordance with the audio, and
Yeah.
that's FM. So it's 100, it's actually 100%, as I understand it,
Yeah.
100% modulation. And the way that they rated the circulator was they advertised it at 100 watts. So yeah, thanks. These are the guys in the sales department, right? And I'm sure the engineers were saying, well, wait a minute, you can't do that.
Well,
And you can't.
they advertise it as 100 100 watts, where you use it only 6 minutes out of every 10 minutes. That's
Now
what.
they do. Now
Oh, so
they
you're saying that's
do.
the new
That's
documentation?
the
Okay.
new, yeah, exactly. That's the right, and that's the correct way, and that's with the new company. But the old guys, I don't know, the sales guys weren't quite on the level. And listen, when you're ordering a repeater and you got the repeater and the antenna and all that other stuff, like the circulator, it's
Oh,
like, oh, okay, whatever. And I guess it should have been researched maybe a little bit better. But the lesson to be learned is get the specification sheet, the spec sheet directly from the manufacturer, not from the vendors or the distributors, is what I meant, not from the distributors, because there's no guarantee they have the most up-to-date stuff. So that would have saved a lot. But in the meantime, we're working out, trying to figure it out. So we'll see, we'll get a response from the company there. And hopefully, I mean, and also, these things are on sale, like on eBay and stuff like that too. So there may be alternatives for us. But quite frankly, given that it really was not accurate advertising, I would hope that we are given some special consideration on that. So anyway, all right. Next, what's next? Oh, so that's that. Oh, okay. Um, we have these items for sale, as we know. We won't go into that right now, but well, we do because we want to say that I give our thanks to Ken Lord. And I can, oh, I'm not so good at remembering call signs, but so Ken Lord for setting up the page we have now that lists some of the equipment that we have. Um, we talked about that. We talked about future present, the budget. So January 31st, right? This is our latest. It's pretty much in line. I mean, we're spending a few dollars on the repeater finally, moving ahead with that as the weather gets warmer, where things will thaw out and we will move even faster than that. And here's our numbers there.
by the way, if you guys didn't see, I posted the contact info in the chat for our section manager and director.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
I got that.
you. Thank you. Okay, very good. And that's
Going back to the budget really quick. Do we have liability insurance?
Yes.
that's an excellent question. I will let me reach out.
We do. Bob renews it each year. It's the group policy through the league. Has like $1 million
Right. So
of coverage or something.
and
Okay.
we can talk the details offline, but yeah, yeah. But yes and no. It's a little complicated, but what is simple these days? I don't know. But I'm just writing that down there. So we'll talk about that. Where am I here? Oh, I think that's really what I have. Oh, and don't forget our webpage and all the good work that John WATOY is doing to 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 get our meetings up online there. We have a record of them, and so that's a good thing.
I have one thing about that. Jerry
Yeah.
had mentioned he wanted to get all his videos that he did up on the same YouTube channel. And that is there somebody that sees him on a regular basis or something that could get him on a flash drive or something like that?
Oh,
Because I never see him. So
right, right,
and I am
right.
I'm a little overwhelmed right now with what's going on.
Sure,
Um,
absolutely understood. So
so
I I don't know the answer to that, but let me give it some thought.
yeah,
It's
'cause I'll
probably
definitely put him
simpler
up
than,
online.
you
I'll give
know,
his own section and everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So okay, very good. We'll
Yeah.
do take a look at that.
I mean,
We'll get
I
him
don't see him
organized.
often, but I mean, I've passed by his house a bunch of times. He lives on Nadine Street in Oak Park, I believe, kind of near where Aaron lives.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
Look,
thank
right.
you.
look for the antenna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause
Okay.
that would be a nice little thing to get up on YouTube with his name on all of them.
It sure would. It really would. Yeah. 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 Okay.
Question, Joe.
Go ahead, Len.
I got a communication from Lester about banquet. This is some things to consider for the committee. I'm not sure who's in charge of the banquet committee, but um, the question is, do we want to have one, or do we want to just have a regular meeting? It's our last meeting of the season. I know we used to use it as an officer installation time, but we don't really do that.
Right.
So, do we really want to just have it so we can buy some food and share it, or if we want to have a real banquet time? These are the questions he's put to us. Do we want to maybe go to a place that has a banquet room that we could go and have a room together and have our food there? Anyway, and there's a couple other options too, but the main thing is, do we want to have an actual banquet, or do we want to just limit it and have a regular club meeting with a presentation, and then maybe some presentation on the future field day? Have John mention any changes or anything he'd like to do, or any things we can help prepare for. Um, Otherwise, the banquet is just we go there. The club provides the food, and we go on our way. So, what do we want to make of the last? I think it's the May the May meeting.
You know, it's interesting you say
The
that, Len.
June meeting.
Yeah,
May is elections. June
the
is the
June.
banquet. Yeah.
Thank you, Reuben. You're
Oh, I
right.
thought
You're
we
right.
had the. I thought we forego the June meeting and have it. Oh, okay.
The June meeting. But you bring up an interesting point is why not move the celebration? These are two big social events for the club, the two biggest social events. So field day is field day. That's non-changeable, right? So if you move uh, the part what's it called, the at the end of the year party, whatever, and you actually make incorporate that into the field day portion of it, but use the June meeting as a prep because we're to make sure everything is on the up and ready there. That might not be a bad idea, really, but we'll have to get with John A8UU, John Teagarden, and get his input on that. And uh, if we can convince Les to lead the way, help us figure it out, and be like the
I've asked Lester
coordinator.
about that, and he don't want to. He says his health's not going to let him do that. So,
Yeah.
but he
Okay.
just want to have some input.
So then we'll need another leader to do that. I mean, otherwise we all meet at a restaurant there and get a big table, like we do Saturday morning, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? I mean, really, the banquet is like our Saturday morning breakfast. It's just much fancier and there's more people who attend. And that has been working for years. So, okay, good point, though. Good point. All right. We talked about this. The zero beat, again, our thanks goes out to to Mike VDZ, Mike there for looking after that for us, the Zero Beat
I
newsletter.
have not emailed out the February one. He
Oh,
sent
you
it to
know
me
why?
he
I
sent it
owe
to me
him.
after. No, he sent it to me after I had already sent out the meeting announcement, so
Oh, I
I just
see.
haven't sent out another email.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I owe him yeah on this. Okay, so great. But he's been very conscientious on that, and it's looking pretty good. So that's all good. What are we doing on time here? What time is it? Oh, okay. Um, the dart. Okay, seems things have been seem reasonable. Um, good activity. So don't have a lot to say right now, other than the good work for the new dart. I call it the new dart. Of course, a lot of good work's going into that.
I would
And
suggest you go back and, if you haven't looked at this past Monday's meeting, you might want to take a look at it, Joe.
thank you, John. And you know what?
It is online.
I apologize for not doing that. It's been a little crazy here, but
Yeah.
thank you. Do you want to just, do you have any headlines or something you want to just share with us, perhaps?
No, it just, Joe, Al and a couple others were, having, talking about the oscillator and the, locations and
Hmm.
the, having a hard time getting a hold of anybody other than Gary at the, building. And, it's, the way Al put it, he said it's not looking good. So, and
Yeah, so
it
we're
was a
going to
little
keep,
surprise for you at the beginning of the video.
I'll take a look at that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay. Next. What's next here? Let's see here. Um, this is like old stuff. Of course, this would be one of the options. We'll see what's happening. Um, listen, who was it? The coach that would say it isn't over till it's over. Okay, let me just say that. It isn't over till it's over. But listen, I'm all for filling up the northwest quadrant there of Oakland and the northeast quadrant of Macomb and kind of filling that all in. I think that would be great if we could accomplish that. So maybe we'll take a look at some of that as we move. So of course that ends up right on Oakland campus there. Okay, website update so we know. So Mike N8VDZ, thank you, Mike, for that. Okay, here's my banquet slide, but again, so I'll update this slide for next time and we'll start. Basically, I think the idea right now would be Saturday morning breakfast, but a fancier version of it at night or something where you bring guests and stuff like that if folks want to do that. So it's always nice to kind of meet
What
everybody.
about people paying their own way rather than having the club pay it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I meant. Exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I mean when I say like Saturday morning breakfast, right? It's, right, exactly. I think that would be a fair thing. I mean, I don't know, maybe the club buys something or we give something away. I don't know. But
I think I think you would be better off having like it's been in the past with, the dollars per person, because if you do a setup as a group, and like Ticonderoga has a second floor which could be private, um I think you're gonna get a better price than having everybody just order off the menu.
Good point.
probably, probably, probably. Okay, but again, I think our first step is we need to recruit an organizer here. So I don't know why Les wouldn't want to do that. I mean, I know it's something he enjoys and it's important to the club, and it's a good uh, uh, you know I remember them as a terrific event. I remember this is back in the day, and right in the yeah. So now it's 10 years. I mean, I feel like it was just yesterday. But we're in the one place, it was upstairs, and we had these round tables, right? And there's maybe 3 or 4 couples at each table, something like that. There's maybe a dozen, ta no, not even a dozen, maybe six, a half dozen tables. And it was the old fashioned, they served everything. I mean, I think a banquet or what do you call it? Like where you go up and all the food's like on a t serving table and you get it
Yeah,
there.
someplace near like Mound Road,
Yeah.
DeCarlo's, I think it was called.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Sounds vaguely familiar. I don't remember exactly, but so and it was really nice. It was really nice. You kind of meet folks that you hear their voices all the time. And we'll have to get Joe there, KE4ZYQ, get him there too. And some of the others. So we'll talk about that. Okay. Anyway, enough. All right. Oops, that's it. Really. This is the same old stuff. Uh, Member badges and other things. I'm just thinking Saturday morning breakfast and that's it. That's really what I have. Anybody have anything else? Anything else to add?
I just have one thing, and it's not especially pertaining to a board meeting, but the asset tags with the QR code are on order. They're being delivered on Friday. My apologies. I was overthinking how to do the QR code, and I was like, we could do this, or we could do this, or we could do this, and I couldn't settle on one, and then eventually I just did it. So um, they're on order. The QR code leads to a Google Drive attached to the Dart email address. Andrew, I saw you started to migrate some stuff into that folder today.
Oh, the folder. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead and I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead. I want to.
Okay. So yeah, Andrew, I saw that you started to migrate some stuff into that folder today. There is one folder called Assets, and that folder is where the QR code points to, because it'll be for asset tags. I mean, we can put other stuff in there, but that's where the QR code points to, and they've been delivered Friday. So I'm sorry that it's taken so long, but they are coming.
Great. All right, Dave. Thanks for that. Hey, listen, I've been getting these emails, and yeah, there's something wrong. I can't get onto the shared drive. Do you know who did I get the emails from? I can't remember now. One was Al, K8ALH, and who was the other I think Andrew, but Andrew just logged off. But
That was me also. I couldn't get
oh,
on.
was it? So
Was it
yeah,
today?
something's not right, and I don't know. I meant to ask Andrew, how do we fix it?
Was it today?
Yeah,
Okay, it's the permissions in the folder. I thought he duplicated it, but
right.
if you guys are having problems getting into it, he must have migrated it. So it's just I have to reset the permissions. So
Oh,
I can do that. I will try and do it this evening, and if I don't do it this evening, I'll do it tomorrow. But
that's fine.
I know
Yeah,
what the problem is. We locked it. We locked the folder because it used to be open to anybody who had the URL. We've
right.
locked it down now, so now I need to add in like the specific people that have access to it.
Oh, good, 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 good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, excellent. So, yeah. All right, so we'll good. All right, so we know what that's all about. I wasn't sure, but okay. So next couple days we'll take a look at that. I don't think um you know uh whatever. So, okay, thank you, Dave. Thanks for that.
Yep.
What else do I have? Oh, we have a meeting coming up here. Again, I just want to, oh, well, that's this slide's from last time, but coming up in 2 weeks. But again, really, thanks everybody for stepping in and the meeting and all that. And I hope the slides were okay and so on and so forth. So, And hopefully, I'm hopeful we'll have a word back from Telewave, and I hope it's good news. Maybe they'll help us, give us at the very least a steep discount, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to talk about that right now, um, but I do want to say that their customer service couldn't have been more helpful and more knowledgeable, and so these are the right guys to kind of build that kind of stuff, but anyway, we'll see how that goes. Okay, that's it. Anybody, anything else? If not, I will close the meeting here and say 73s and thank you everybody for attending the Board of Directors meeting of the Hazel Park Amateur Radio Club for February 25, 2026. Thank you, 73s, and good night.